Mavrik Bourque and Nils Lundkvist, guys. If there ever was a star-studded SDPN instant analysis for the offseason, this bad boy is it. 11 combined goals last year. 19 combined assists. I'm really trying to make something of this, okay? Just bear with me. You know, we're talking true NHL movers and shakers. Kinda, maybe, one day. I think ideally that's what they like to be. But actually what this is Jim Nill, Mavrik Bourque, and Nils Lundkvist being pretty smart all together, working together to do smart things. I'll explain. First, here are the details of both contracts. They're both one-year deals. Mavrik Bourque's going to make $925,000 next year. I know by NHL standards that's still pretty small, but $925,000, I would like to make that kind of money. Nils Lundkvist also gets a one-year deal. He is going to make $1.25 million. I would also like to make what Nils Lundkvist is making next year. Now, as always, thank you to our friends at Puckpedia for grabbing this information as quickly as possible on the internet so that we can make these videos. So let's start with Mavrik Bourque. Who is this guy? How does he fit in? So Mavrik Bourque is a first-round pick from 2020. This is basically the year that Dallas went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals in the COVID bubble and lost, and nobody was there. He's 5'11", 183 pounds, and he is such a damn Dallas Star, it's silly. What do I mean by that? The Stars have become sort of masterful at drafting young players who really have great value. They let them develop, and then they sort of tease them into the lineup. And they kind of let them get the experience over the course of a couple seasons. And then when guys who are already in the lineup full-time get older or more expensive, boop, they're in. Logan Stankoven and Mason Marchment, two pretty big parts of the Stars forward group for the last couple of years, have been moved. Now, Logan Stankoven was moved at the trade deadline. Mason Marchment was moved yesterday. And there's already rumors that Jason Robertson might be moved as well. My bet is they do move him. But the Stars aren't really that worried about it. Obviously, you don't want to lose a guy like Jason Robertson. But when you have guys like Mavrik Bourque who can come into the lineup and fill roles at a ludicrously low spot, you can replace that goal output. And if they pan out, which in the Dallas Stars case, most of the time they do, it's a little frustrating. Bob's your uncle. Now, signing this deal and not holding out for more money or term is a really smart move from Mavrik Bourque as well. With Marchment, Stankoven, potentially Robertson on the move as well, you're going to get a huge opportunity in Dallas with that crazy offense that they have to play a pretty big role. Maybe he steals right wing from Tyler Seguin. Maybe he's like the third line center so they can keep Sam Steele at the fourth line. The thing is with Mavrik Bourque is he can do both and he can score. And I don't think Dallas minds having a guy like that who they can kind of slot in and go, I don't know where we're going to need you tonight. Well, we'll put you here and he can succeed. And then the next night he's here and you can succeed, especially in times like the playoffs. That is really valuable. Now, Dallas are going to be a good team next year. They want to be great, though. They want to get over the hump, and they got work to do to get better and very little cap space to do it, which is why they're dumping it. Now, Bourque needs more chances, and I would argue he's earned a shot, at least a look in camp in the top six, and Dallas really needs him to step up. This is a prime prove-it deal. If we're sitting here next summer and Mavrik Bourque has put in 50 or 55 points, this could be a longish term deal at $3.5, $4, maybe $5 million, depending upon what the going rate is. And before you say, Adam, you're crazy, remember, the cap is exploding over the next few years. $4 or $5 million is going to become 4 or 5% of the cap. That's what 40 or 50 points is going to cost. And especially for a young guy like him, he's only 23. Now, a question you might have for me, and it's a good one, is, Adam, how do you really expect this guy to go from 25 points to like 40 or 50? And I think that's a relevant, real question to ask. I think the thing you look at is history. And if you look at his history from last season with the Texas Stars in the AHL, 77 points in 71 games. Does that translate to the NHL perfectly? Of course not. Do I expect him to be a point-a-game player? I've already said I don't. But the thing is, in the AHL, it's really, really hard to be a point-a-game player. There are not many guys who are. Even the best players, like a Mavrik Bourque who play in the AHL, tend to be around a point a game. It's just not one of those leagues where you see crazy scoring. So I think there's an opportunity here, if a couple of things go right, for him to really seize this opportunity and get to that level. He has scored at every level he's ever been at Why not the NHL too? He also had 11 points in 7 playoff games for the Texas Stars about a year ago. And listen, I know it's the AHL. I know it's not the NHL. I know that he played 4 games for Dallas this year and did not score any points in the playoffs. But it's a process. It's a process. And really, this guy's got great vision. He's got a great shot. He's mobile. There's no reason he can't score more. And let's be honest here. Him playing in the playoffs was great experience. It's prime Dallas Stars behavior. You have a young player. He gets a sniff at some really important games. He wants more, and you hold him back until he's ready. And this is his year to prove that he's ready. The other thing Mavrik Bourque really needs to be aiming for come training camp is power play time. It might be limited because I don't know if you've seen Dallas's top power play unit. It's insane. But you are going to get some seconds. You might get 30 or 40 seconds every power play. And you got to make good with the time that you got. That is going to be key to his step forward next season and ultimately establishing himself as a true NHLer with a long-term deal that pays him millions of dollars. Isn't that the goal? And the cup too. You want to win the cup. So this is a prove-it year. This is a let's-go year for Bourque. I'm excited to see what he does. Now, on to Nils Lundkvist. Now, Nils Lundkvist is pretty interesting. If you don't remember Nils, let me give you the backstory here. This is a highly touted first-round pick from 2018. The Rangers picked him. And he was supposed to be great. And for a while, it looked like he was one of the better picks that they could have made. He set records in the SHL, led all defensemen in goals and power play goals in 2021. He had 14. That's the most goals ever recorded by a defenseman under the age of 21 in SHL history. And he also won the Salming Trophy that year, which is the league's best defenseman. And he wasn't 21 yet. I think that's pretty interesting. Now, it didn't work out in New York. There was some conversation about playing time and development time, and Nils thought one thing and the Rangers thought another, and it was pretty clear that the Rangers were just not big fans of his game, and he wasn't getting the opportunity that he wanted, so Dallas said, we'll take you. Dallas really liked him, though, because they traded a conditional first-rounder in 2023 and a conditional fourth-rounder in 2025 to get him and give him the opportunity that he needs. But I would argue that this year is the year we find out whether or not Nils Lundkvist is truly going to stick at the NHL level. Firstly, to get a sense of Nils' position in the Dallas Stars system, you kind of have to look at Dallas's defense, which has not been a focus. Ottinger looks good. They have to dump Cap at forward. They need a new head coach. But the defense could use some tweaking or potentially a little bit of an overhaul. Guys like Ilya Lyubushkin and Cody Ceci are making a lot of money, and I'm not sure they're well-positioned to eat as many minutes as they are currently eating. So they could be shipped out, and that could give Nils Lundkvist and his $1.25 million cap, which Dallas loves it so much, gives him the opportunity that he needs. Now, he's shown flashes of promise while playing for the Dallas Stars, but last season kind of didn't go the way that he or the Stars would have wanted it to go. He was playing like 60 games a year. That's not bad. Last year was a little bit down, only had 5 assists, but there's time to rebound. Again, he's only 24 years old, and the time to become a permanent NHLer is right now. He needs it, and the Dallas Stars really need it. It was smart of him and his agent not to waste time holding out for a couple extra $100,000 or a couple of more years on the contract. You take the money, and more importantly, you take the opportunity. Now, you can read the scouting reports dating all the way back to when this guy was just a kid and before he was drafted. There's a reason he was drafted high. He's good. He's got good vision. If he can show that he's at least respectable at the NHL level at the boring stuff, the hustling back, the breaking up plays in the neutral zone, defensive zone stuff, making great breakout plays. Basically, if you can be the guy lower down in the defense pairings that the coach trusts, then I think the sky's the limit. It's also worth noting that this guy shoots right. He's a right-shot defenseman that can move a puck. Guess what that's worth? Millions of dollars and many, many years on a contract. Nils, if you can stick, this is your opportunity to make a bajillion zillion dollars and do it in Dallas, where everybody seems to love to play. Finally, I have to tip my hat, and I don't usually wear hats because my head's huge, and every hat that I wear gives me a headache. But if I wore hats, I would tip mine to Jim Nill, general manager of the Dallas Stars. Here's a guy who really and truly has his work cut out for him. Tough decisions and a heartbreaking loss in the conference finals again. And here he is out here making smart decisions and making the tough decisions. Listen, I'm openly a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. You probably know that about me. And if you don't, hi, I'm a Leafs fan. It's sad. We cry a lot. That's just the way it is. And here's the thing. My team has made every effort not to make the hard decisions in the last few years. And when you don't make the tough decisions, life and circumstance have a way of making them for you. Hence, Mitch Marner walking to free agency and likely leaving for literally nothing. We could have avoided that, but that was too hard of a decision. If Jim Nill was the GM, I feel like it would have been different. Jim Nill has never been afraid of a tough decision, and it doesn't look like he's backing down this year. Dallas is going to look a lot different next year, but I don't think anyone doubts that they'll be right back in the mix to win the division. I don't think anyone doubts they'll be going deep in the playoffs if they can get by the Colorado Avalanche. Sorry, Drew. Half the team is going to the Olympics too, probably. Like, this is a star-studded group. Now, there's no denying, too, that there's been a lot of momentum building in the Stars organization for, half a decade or more, right? They made the Stanley Cup Finals in 2020. They've made a lot of extremely smart moves. They've been able to age out older players, bring in younger ones to replace them with little to no lag time. But the question remains, can they win it all? Or are they this decade's San Jose Sharks, who were great? They were great in the 2010s, but they never won it. So I guess we'll wait and see. That's it for this video. But before we go, I have questions. Dallas Stars fans, I need to know what you think of these guys, Mavrik Bourque and Nils Lundkvist, in the comments section. How much of a role and how important is their success to Dallas's success next year? And I also want to know what you think of the job Jim Nill has done so far. Also, do you have any preferences on coach? Is it Glenn Galutzin? Is it Neil Graham from the Texas Stars? Is it Alan Nasruddin, the Stars assistant coach? All good options. Let me know. I would love to hear what you have to think. And please share this with every Dallas Stars fan you know, whether they know SDPN or not, because we're always trying to reach new hockey fans wherever they are. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Dallas Stars trade.